Cyberpunk 2077. It was supposed to be the game of all games, the game of the year, the craziest game ever. Everybody's been waiting for this game. 8 years ago, when we first saw trailers, we were excited for this game. This was going to be the next evolutionary step for gaming. Oh man, what happened? So, recently I've been playing Cyberpunk 2077. I've beaten the game, done all the side quests, did everything I could in the game, even reached max cred 50, level 48, and so on. And I did all this with a 1080 GTX OC card because I can't get a 3080 yet, go figure. But the thing is, it ran at 35 FPS to 40 FPS with my computer, and playing it in 2K, 60 FPS perfectly fine. Now, I wanted the sharpness, so I played the game in 4K for my second run. And believe it or not, I did quite enjoy my runs both times. They were okay. I figure, it's got some gameplay to it. The first time I was kind of disappointed at the main story because I beat it in 30 hours. Second run, however, was much better because I did the side quest. Now, some of the positive things going for this game is definitely the writing and the dialogues in the game. I do enjoy it. I do remember every single character in this game, from Bozo, the Grenade Nose Clown, to Judy, Panam, Victor, Misty, V, Johnny Silverhand, the Pirellas, Rivers. I mean, I can go on and on and on. And this is one of the few games where I've played where I actually remember the characters, so that's a positive. Along with that, this game is really rich in lore, and you gotta read the game to know that. A lot of people don't like reading, that's understandable, but if you read the laptops, the data pads, the shards, it tells you about synthetic meat, where all the animals are because of a plague, the corporal's history, technology history. I mean, they're so rich in lore, and a lot of people skip these stuff. Only downside of the story itself would have to be the pacing of the story, and that's pretty much it. But everything else about it, it was well written. And because the fact that the story is well written, it kept me engaged, along with the characters in the game, which kept me engaged. Other than that, the choices of impact, it just wasn't there for me. It was not as impactful as I thought it would. So, which leads me to the next case I want to talk about, is the impact of the game, starting with the prologue. The life choices in the prologue of the game, oh, that trailer I've been following. I thought that the game was going to be, you kind of build your own character from the prologue, because I've seen the trailers. That was the only trailer I've watched for this game. Aside from the 48-minute trailer, which I've seen years ago, I didn't remember anything about that. We went into analysis, people talked about the whole life path. It looks really cool, like you're playing 3 different Vs, and they're going to have a completely different style of gameplay. And no, that never happened. Nope, absolutely not. Right when you get to the middle of the game, doing the prologues for each one of the life path, which takes about, 20-30 minutes around there, you kinda reach into the point where you see a cutscene of spending 6 months with Jackie. And the thing about this cutscene is that I thought at this point, this gotta be cut content, because there's no way they're gonna show us a cutscene of 6 months of kicking ass, meeting Victor, meeting Misty, and all that stuff that you did with Jackie. It's gotta be a lie. It's gotta be rushed. And then I discovered later on in the forums that no, this is actually something that they created for the game. There's a whole artist thing where he created the rooms for it and everything, and I was like, damn. But unfortunately, yeah, that's the thing for the game. I guess they didn't want you to spend 6 months with an NPC. It would have been boring, I guess. I don't know why. But what was most disappointing after that was that the life path themselves doesn't really do much and have an impact to your playthrough. I mean, sure, the dialogue changes a bit if you play a certain life path, but that's pretty much it. You play Corporal, you have knowledge on Corporal stuff. You play Nomad, you can have inputs about Nomad stuff. It changes the dialogue, yes, but it doesn't have significant impact to the overall gameplay. What it should have been is, you play Nomad, you go through a hub, you have to get known, and you have to do all these quests to get into the streets. Moving on, let's talk about the graphics in this game. Even though I didn't see the ray tracing and all that good stuff, yeah, the graphic looks good. The city looks great. The lighting, the people around you, even though there's double NPCs at time, it looks like a good game. It looks good if you play this game on rails, if you play it like a theme park. If you go from here to here to here and you look at the world, everything looks fine, right? Everything looks good in the boundary. Play it in the sense where you look at people like you do in real life. You see them on the streets, you take a peek at them and you're just like, who cares about them? That's the way you gotta play this game to really immerse yourself. Now, leaving that boundary, let's say you follow an NPC, or you get in trouble, or you try to play this game in a GTA open sandbox type of game. You're gonna see it. You're gonna see that the NPCs are non-existent. They do wander around like zombies. They take pictures, say weird shit when you press F on them. I mean, other than that, they look alive, but at the same time, they're dead inside. The best example of how bad they are for me would have to be when I'm jumping around and all of a sudden one NPC crouches in the corner, starts screaming, the other one chains and does the same thing, and then they all start running as if I'm Godzilla. And this doesn't just apply to the NPCs walking around, it also applies to the NPCs all over the place. It applies to the cars itself. If you block a car off, they just kind of sit there. They don't drive around you. Now, the other thing is, I didn't really buy this game to play it like a Grand Theft Auto game. It wasn't meant to be a Grand Theft Auto type of game. People see cars, people see guns, people see city, boom, automatically it's Grand Theft Auto, when it was meant to be more of a Fallout type of game. But even then, dynamically, this game is not what it said it would be. Next gen, dynamic world, uses the word next gen. When marketing uses the word next gen, you gotta be extra careful using that word, because you're comparing, saying you're the best, you're the next step in evolution. And so they're getting a lot of heat for it. I've seen videos where people compare this game to cockroaches from Half-Life. There's comparisons to GTA 4. There's tons of those. GTA 4, GTA 5, all of that stuff. I mean, it's all out. And they kind of deserve this heat. I mean, this is what happens when you say the word next gen. And I hope that people stop using this word if their game is not going to carry its weight. Let's talk about the bugs in this game. Bugs are plentiful. I've seen plenty of it. I thought it was my graphic card at first. I thought it was because I was playing on a shitty machine. But then you see other people on streams, on YouTube, on places that are having the same bugs, and you realize, damn, I'm not the only one having these bugs. These are real bugs. Graphical glitches, you have items floating in midair, or items in people's hand. You also get stuff like NPC glitches, you get stuff like T-poses. I mean, there was a lot of bugs in this game, and we don't need to talk about that all the time. Everybody's using clickbaits on YouTube. They're having a great time with this. At first, it's really cute, and afterwards, after seeing so many bugs, it becomes immersion breaking. Thankfully, I didn't encounter too many game-breaking bugs. The game was playable. I didn't encounter anything like falling out of the world or anything crazy like that, which I've seen online, and they're funny. So definitely check those out if you want to see them. The other thing is, it seems like there's a lot of audio bugs, possibly missing audio in the game. I'm not sure what's going on there. There seems to be problems with audio in certain places, especially with characters talking to me on the phone. They sound like they're talking out of the phone, and then the next moment they sound like they're right next to my ear, or their tone changes, and you got stuff like no audio in certain places, which seems kind of weird. So is it a bug? I don't know. Music in this game is banging, hands down. I don't even have much to say about this. The music that cues when you're playing as Johnny, flipping the guns in your hand, the music to Pacifica. There was a lot of great banging music on the radio. Gameplay. The game plays out how you want to play. You can use melee weapons, you can use blunt weapons, you can use guns, and you can hack your way, you can stealth your way. That's the great thing about this game, is the fact that you can do whatever you want, how you choose. Only downside is non-lethal kills. I don't understand the concept behind that, because I don't know if it affects anything. I don't think it does. But the other thing is, later on you get a mod that you can install in your eye, which lets you kill everybody but make it non-lethal kills, and it kind of defeats the purpose of non-lethal stuff. I mean, it's just, I don't understand the concept behind that. As for the skill tree itself, for the melee one, I thought it was decent, and certain skill aspects was, I understand why it's there, but there were completely useless skills on the skill tree, which baffles me. Like, for example, breaking junk down automatically, which is fine. I understand breaking junk down, but later on I discovered that the junk breaking skill actually breaks down very expensive jewelry, which you can sell for more eddies, but instead, eddies is the money in the game, by the way, but instead, it breaks it down into useless crafting stuff, so you're not getting a benefit out of it, you're losing. I went crafting, and crafting was great at first. I thought, I'm not gonna craft anything, I'm not gonna make anything until I'm higher level. And the thing about this game is there's tons of loots in the game. You see guns everywhere, you see loot everywhere. It's a loot hoarding game. You just gotta pick everything up and you break it down, you make new stuff out of it, or upgrade your weapons. Upgrading weapons get really expensive later on, so it becomes useless to me. Why would I want to upgrade weapons when I can always find a newer weapon that's better and then just replace it that way? And why would I craft at a lower level when I can reach the max level and craft the better things? The problem with this is after I reached level 48 and I got my crafting to level 18 and I was ready to craft those legendary items, go figure, the legendary items requires the original iconic legendary items that you had previously, and it doesn't tell you this, so you end up breaking them down, right? You break down your stuff during the gameplay, and then when you get to that point, you're trying to craft it, you're like, oh shit, I've broken down everything, I can't. And it's not only that, but I figured some parts of the trees definitely would benefit if the content from the game was back in the game. Some of the trees, I can see where it's going, it does help, and then some of them, the skills on the trees are just like, what? Especially one where you can be invisible in the water, and it's like there's only 2 quests in this game where you go in the water, and there's no enemies in the water. Why do I need invisibility in the water? What the Final thing I'll talk about is open world. Open world is a big trend. It's understandable. People want to show off the world they created, which is cool and all. The problem is this game doesn't take advantage of the entire open world. There's a lot of fixer quests, copy-paste quests that you'll see around, some side quests, go here, kill people here, etc. And there's a lot of side quests in this game where they chain and tell great stories. Now those are hidden in between because the UI interface themselves, the icons are all the same. So you have to look in your journal and figure out which of those quests are the best quest. If you look at the screen itself, it's going to be a clusterfuck. It's not going to be easy to recognize which quest is which. And now there's tons of bars in the game. There's no bar mini games in here. There's no Gwent, which I was surprised. And you know, the game needed variety in side quests. They could have done photo shooting mini game. It's just so much missed opportunities with taking advantage of this beautiful open world they created. You gotta take advantage of your open world. If you're not gonna do that, then might as well make hubs. I think this game would have benefited by being large central hub areas. People go here, take a couple quests here, because you shoot enemies in hallways anyway. So just my little opinion about that, but definitely don't want to go into the cut content about this game. And you know, console players, I feel sorry for you guys. I've heard the stories about this game, and I don't even want to get into the fist fighting in this game. That horrible fist fighting. The game is not ready yet, guys. I definitely would not recommend any of my friends to buy this game. Being honest, the real winner is going to be the people who buy this game later, because the fact is they're going to have all these patches and all these fixes and possibly make the game great. But at this time, at this moment, with the amount of bugs and the content in the game missing, I mean, it's just better to hold off and wait for it before you buy it. And if I had to give this game a score, it's in between for me. So I would give it something around a 7, and that's being extra nice with the story. A 7, and I'm gonna stick with that. And that's where it kind of hovers in on at Steam too. I'm gonna talk about my afterthought about this game. What took me so long to make this video is I like to go into depth with people about the game itself. And you know, there's a lot of forum posts blowing up about this game. Wherever you go, everybody's talking about this game. It's very interesting that this game got the full brunt of all gamers of other games where the same things have happened before, and this is not, you know, anything new. A lot of people have very it's interesting, have very short-term memory lapses where they forgot that these type of things happen so many times, and forums blow up where people are siding with, if you like the game, you're a fanboy, if you hate the game, you're a hater, that kind of deal. And then there's like in between, and that's where I kind of sit at, because this game, it's just so much shit going for it. It comes down to, if you like the game, that's fine, masterpiece it. If you hate the game, give reasons why. people are still trying to argue who's at fault here, and people are rooting for, the investors to sue them, and they're calling them liars. They'll pitchforks up, and, it's not going to do anything. I mean, this game certainly opened many eyes, but the lawsuit is definitely not for you guys. Sorry to tell you the truth. And it opened a lot of eyes for players, and it opened a lot of eyes for publishers, and hopefully they learned not to push their game out so soon and force these games to go on out unfinished when they need more time to be polished. This is what happened here, and you can blame whatever. You can blame everything. If there is something to blame, I blame everything. I blame the people, I blame the marketing, I blame the management. Damn, I'm gonna go ahead and blame the game too. So on. The hype train is a train filled with gasoline. Every time I see it, it always never ends well. It's like a train, a hype train, that's filled with gasoline, and at the end, at the destination, the conductor always throws his cigarette backwards, and everybody just ends up burning themselves into. A lot of times, you look at it and you believe all these possibilities and dreams and so on. Hopefully people stop buying into these marketing, but what's done is done, and the milk has been spilled. The game's out there, and people are still making those clickbait videos, of course. The clickbait videos, the trend for hatred is very strong. Any videos you make, you can get a lot of clicks right now, and that's what people do. It's like a one-trick pony kind of thing. And for me, honestly, I like to see the challenging thing. And the challenging part is going to be how they're going to get themselves out of this predicament. Because losing the reputation, the company losing the reputation, it's really hard to regain the trust of the players, especially with gamers nowadays. It's very hard, and I'd like to see them do it, because No Man's Sky did it, and Final Fantasy XIV Online did it. So I would like to definitely see what happens in the following month and see if they can pull themselves out of this. That's all I gotta say about the game, guys. Thanks for watching my shitty review, but if you like it, you can thumbs up. If you don't like it, you can thumbs down. It doesn't even matter anyways. It doesn't do anything anymore. That's how I feel about this game. Honestly, it just it's a big disappointment. But we'll have to see if they pull out of this, because it's gonna be freaking amazing, and that's what I want to see. Can they do it, or will they just kind of just leave the game the way it is and just make some improvement, and there you go, boom? Because a lot of games do that, and to me, those are the real failures. I'd definitely like to retry playing this game once they put out everything for patches. Well, looks like Mass Effect 4 is going to be the next one, so it's our last hope.